Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House, the world's only NSFW real estate podcast, and proud of it. Not safe for work, dog. Every week I have a different guest on, and they give us an imaginary, fantastical, fanciful, whimsical, sometimes naughty and dirty, sometimes pretty squeaky clean, but their imagination comes to life, and they give us a tour of their fantasy house. It's a blizzity blizzast. I love it. I have so much fun. I'm your host, Jon Shefsky. I think I already said Shefsky here at the beginning, so I don't know why I had to say my name again, but it's my podcast, right? And it's brought to you by me because I'm a really real real estate agent in Southern California. I know. You think, are you just a fantasy real estate agent on this show? No, in real life, I'm actually a really real estate agent. And if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, I'm in Southern California and I'm thinking about selling my house. Well, what's my next step? Hit me up. Send me an instant message. Is that what it's called? An instant message over there on Instagram? Hit the DMs, bruh. And even if you're not sure what you want to do, if you're like, I was thinking about buying an investment property, I want to know more about multifamily apartment buildings. What's the next step? Just send me a message on Instagram, fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com. You can send me an email. You can hit my Instagram, JONSHEFSKY. Why not? That's what I say every freaking episode, man. This week I'm having a blast, and I got my friend here. He's an awesome dude. We've been friends for a while, and he's got a great sense of humor. He's got great style. He loves good food. We grub down together. It's just good times. Daniel Zarate, like the Mexican restaurant in San Diego that makes those amazing burritos. El Zarate. This is Daniel Zarate. Let's get the show started in the words of the great Angelo Bowers. Let us do
Hello, my name is Daniel Zarate. I'm here in as a replacement for Michael Silverblatt, your NPR.
Is that who it is?
Book host.
The NPR guy?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
But it's so dull. He's just like very droll and just like, hello, my name is Michael Silverblatt.
I know. Well, that's why NPR is great, to have other people tell you about an NPR show that they heard so that you don't have to worry about falling asleep.
Oh, totally. But I mean, I think that
because it's got value,
right? No, of course. It's great information. However, I think it's kind of dangerous that they play it
while you're driving. Yo, welcome back to the Schluffy Show.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're stuck in traffic. I mean, like, the last thing I want is like someone to lull you to sleep.
Yeah, you don't need to Pee Wee Herman that shit.
Yeah, right. You're just gonna plow into the backside of someone.
Well, what's the opposite? What's your other? So if you don't do NPR, so you just want to stay awake, what do you listen to? Howlin' Wolf, man, Jack.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's why they have all those like weird like shock jocks in the morning. They're like, "Oh, this is Dickhead in the Booth coming at you at like a 92.5."
I don't know about you guys, but I have electric nipple clamps.
Oh, nice.
So they're attached to my steering wheel, and if my eye contact loses the windshield, there's a little laser that reports to it, and I wake up immediately.
I get in these like weird rabbit hole like tangents. I'll look up like, weird stuff like, or
give us specifics. That's always fun.
No, I mean, like, it's just like, you're watching something and then it'll be like, I'll look up like, new fishing reels that came out for the year because I'm a fucking weirdo.
Just to watch, and you're like, I haven't been fishing in 12 years.
But then like this guy. And maybe I clicked on his video like one time, but now it's like always recommended for me. It's like that Steven Hofstetter guy.
Oh, the guy who
all he does
shuts down heckler.
Yeah, it's like comedian destroys heckler times 10. Like,
I think it's all staged. If you notice, he's always wearing vests. You're like, this guy wants to get heckled in every way,
dude. Like, so
I'm surprised he doesn't get tomatoes thrown at him. He wears a fucking vest.
Working in like the hospitality industry for a very long time. And specifically in bartender roles, it was like we had to wear vests, and like it was the worst fucking thing ever. Like this guy, like you could tell around town he wears that vest and like a shitty fedora.
Yeah, it's a really weird outfit that you're like, you really dressed yourself and thought this is how I want. Like, and I'm no one to talk. I mean, there's many times where I just wear stuff that I'm like, whoa, I don't know how I left the house. But a vest like that with like a primary color t-shirt too, you're like, no tint to it at all, lighter or darker, just a primary shirt and a vest. You're like, is this for real? Like it's like a 1993 like Vegas improv group outfit.
Totally. And like he's got like the quintessential, like when you think like so like you have like I have like two images of like you hear like stand-up comedian. You think of like this dude who like woke up and is wearing like, you know, a flannel shirt.
Yep.
Like just rolled out of bed and was like, oh, fuck,
that was my outfit.
I'm doing the late show tonight.
Totally.
Like,
if you dress it all nicely, you're like, you're so contrived.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy?
And like,
okay,
and then you
that
have
was me.
Then you have the other guy who's like, I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, you know what I mean? Like he talks like he's like from the 1930s.
How you doing there, folks?
Yeah.
Ladies and James.
He probably doesn't curse like at all.
Yeah.
He's like. He's just like, so did you see what they said the other day? Can you believe what they said in the New York Post?
He does the hackiest jokes, but he didn't steal any of it. He legitimately thinks that stuff is like his original thoughts.
Totally.
Please take my wife.
Yeah.
I wrote that, you know. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
And like, you know, I think by now, like people who go see this guy he's just like asking for it. You know what I mean? Like the way like Jimmy Carr does, but like Jimmy Carr's like, you're a cunt. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like expects it.
I think so. I mean, he's gone viral several times, and I think he's built a little bit of a career. So I've met him a handful of times.
Yeah, I mean,
he's always a nice dude.
And like,
I don't know him. I don't know well enough to tell him to his face what I just said about his vest.
Yeah, but like his comebacks are like legitimately good most of the time too.
Sure.
Like but like, are they really that good? Because like he's just using logic against drunk people. Mm-hmm. Which is not hard to do.
Yeah, it was like the Emperor in the freaking Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's got his hand tied behind his back, though.
Yeah,
you got both hands free.
It's just logic. Like, but he does usually destroy them, and then I end up watching 6 more of his fucking videos. So it works. I mean, but still.
That like, YouTube algorithm's trippy, dude.
It's so weird, dude. Like, just shit that I just don't even care about.
I end up liking all the stuff, but I just can't believe how many videos like it turns into homework. Where it's like now I'll watch these science videos that it's like it's not helping me do anything. It's not helping my life out, but it's giving me this like minutia science information that I'm like, that's great and all, but if there's 11 dimensions, I'm having I'm just trying to make a living in this 3-dimension one. Like I don't know what I'm wasting my time. It just draws you in, and there's been a lot of discussion too on how it affects people on identity politics. Depending on which way you lean politically, it feeds you the videos that kind of like go with your ideologies, and I think it hinders people like looking outside their box and be like, oh, that's why that person thinks that thing. Maybe they're not so evil afterwards. Afterwalls.
Yeah,
You're my afterwards alls. It's that old song from I think it was the Beatle Oasis. The Oasis of Beatles. Shoasis. Shoasis sounds delicious on some pita bread. Some Shoasis.
Some Shoasis with some hummus.
Hummus. Shoasis.
With Hamas.
A pickle. Oh, yeah, with Hamas. I feel like I know someone that ordered Hamas before at a restaurant. And they're like, no, you mean hummus, bro.
Yeah, we probably know them.
There's a really good Palestinian Middle Eastern place in what do you call it? I say Palestinian Middle Eastern place. Like someone listening is like, Palestine, Texas? No, Palestine, Middle East.
Yeah, right.
In the valley, there's all these different. I love how like you have like. If you're outside of the valley, you just go to a place you're like, it's pita bread and there's falafel. But if you're in the valley, they divvy it up by every area. This is Bedouin. Yeah. This is Lebanese. This is Israeli. This is Palestinian.
Then you go to like other places like Glendale, for example.
Oh, bro, I love some food in Glendale.
Dude, Glendale's the best. Like you go up to Glendale and it's like every motherfucker's got like Armani Exchange on, like drives a white BMW and like it smells like
so weird.
Dracar Noir.
A white AMG.
But like California's just weird like that in general. Like I mean, when I grew up here.
Yeah.
I moved to New York and lived there for several years and then moved back. And then when people like would like talk to me in the street here, like I'd be like, you fucking owe me, do I owe you money? Like what?
Oh, you'd feel uncomfortable here.
Oh yeah.
In Cali.
Because over there, like people like, they don't fucking talk to you at all. Like
it's weird if someone talks to you in New York?
Yeah, you just walk. Like you're walking and someone says anything to you, you like either like.
You pull a gun on them?
No, you don't pull a gun on them. Like,
you turn around like
you just like walk around them. Like, you know what I mean? That's why tourists are always like, the ones who were like, oh, New Yorkers are dicks, like, because they're like,
they don't understand.
They're always
something.
like, because like in New York, like you're not allowed to like stand on the street. Like you walk. They're walkways. They're not standways.
Oh, okay.
So like you have this asshole with like a map, and he's like, "Where's 22nd Street?" You're like, It's a fucking grid, buddy. Like, this is
Yeah.
21st.
It's the simplest way to do it.
That way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
That
I mean?
way.
So it's, but so it's like some guy like impeding you, like while you're like late to work or like you're trying to get to the train or something, and like some dickheads like from like Minneapolis, and he's like, whoa, like Gomer Pyle type shit, and you're like, you're like, dude, get the fuck
Get out of my way.
Yeah.
My life's going by,
Exactly.
sir.
You're like, fuck, I'm late. And like, that's the one thing like I do love about Los Angeles is like how sprawling it is. And how
You like that?
I do because where I live in Alhambra.
Talk about good food.
Oh, totally! All this
dude.
super good.
I don't think
Chinese
Glendale compares. I think
No.
Alhambra is insane how good the food is.
food. But it's so close to
hungry.
downtown LA that I get there in like 3 minutes, like literally 3 minutes.
You know the right streets to get on,
I
and
just
you're
know
just there.
the fucking. I live on Fremont and the 10 freeway, so it's like just hop on the 10.
Yeah.
I'm right there, like on mission. Like, well, cool.
Yeah.
East LA downtown. So you have Pasadena right there. You've got all this stuff. So it's like you can live in these like little suburban pockets. Because like I grew up in East LA and like in the city, and then you can be far enough away to where it's you still, if you want the hustle and bustle, you can get it, and if you want to get out, you totally can. But in New York, like that was the thing. Like you walk out your front door, like you're fucking in it. Like.
Yeah, I always felt that was like I imagine it because I never lived like that as a youngin. I imagine that being so crazy. I remember asking my buddy Erle about it because I was always I had a lot of anxiety when I lived like deep in the city in LA. I lived in Glendale, which was crowded. I lived in Los Feliz. I lived in Mid City.
Yeah.
I was like, and over the past few years, I moved to Torrance, and then I lived in Laverne, and man, like I just feel like it feels like I was in some sort of war where I'm like, I don't ever want, and no offense to veterans that are like, dude,
No,
I've been
totally.
through it. But that example is just like, I feel like I can't go, I don't ever want to go back. Like if they're like, all right, you had your, and people go to battle and then they have to go back like after a few years.
They call you back.
They
You're
get
like,
called back
"No."
in. Like I'm like, I'll be MIA or whatever they call it when it's not MIA. It's what is it when a soldier
Go AWOL.
AWOL. I'll be AWOL. Like my wife will be like, well, one day maybe we'll move back to the city, after our kids are older. I was like, nah, you have fun. Maybe your next husband will take you there. I'm like, I'm moving farther out into the countryside. Like there's something psychological about it for me. Maybe I have some form of
No, but
learning.
it like could be like some like PTSD type shit. I mean, it's
Dude,
a real
I used to
thing,
get anxiety. The first time I started getting anxiety was when I was 19 years old. I went to makeup artist school, and I would hang out with all these really cool kids. Most of them were older, and we'd smoke pot, and I would literally just freak out. I'd feel like just the city, like so much stuff going on. It was like a fire drill of just like noises.
Yeah, it's such a learning curve to get used to in New York. Like I would I lived on like the fourth floor of like a walk up, and I would walk down my stairs and walk outside, and there'd be like a homeless dude taking
defecating
a shit,
in front
like,
of you,
literally like outside my front door, like two other people fucking like. On the stoop next to mine,
like healthy, clean people, or like
like just like healthy, clean people. Like
that's not so crazy.
Like fucking, and then like
I've seen homeless people having sex. That's pretty weird.
Some other lady like on the other side of the street, like throwing stuff at another person, and then like just piles of garbage everywhere. And then like I used to go. It was actually. I'm going to go on a tangent here a little bit.
Okay.
It was actually the best. So coming from Southern California to New York, like obviously. You crave Mexican food. There's no good Mexican food in New York because there's no Mexican people. I mean, there's like pockets, but like
there's never any good Mexican food in New York.
yeah, it's just, and it's not the same. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're like, carne asada. It's just like literally like beef just chopped into cubes.
Like
Yeah.
that's just
Like-
beef chopped into cubes.
Yeah,
like, well, that's
just-
what carne asada is.
Yeah, right.
This is New York, darn it.
So Puerto Ricans and Mexican people fucking hate each other. Like it's just
in New York or just everywhere?
no, in New York. Like that's like they're like
I love Puerto Rican
they just
food,
don't
by the
get
way.
along.
I didn't
And
know
so
that. They're not just like, hey, we're all Latino. We're in this together.
well, Puerto Ricans get to say the N word too because
do they?
oh yeah. Mexicans don't.
I know that.
Yeah, but Puerto Ricans.
I don't know a lot of rules, but I know that one. The Mexican people can't say the N word.
If you're Puerto Rican or Dominican, you might be.
Oh yeah, if
a
you're
little bit.
Dominican, then you can. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we used to go to the bodega next to my place, and there was one directly across the street, and they were Puerto Ricans, and they used to like call me the N word, like be like, "Yo, man!" Like I'm like, "Hey,"
You're all blushing.
Yeah,
Hi.
Hi.
What can I do you for?
And they had like a breakfast burrito on their menus to get coffee there. And if I didn't want to go walk to get a bagel, I'd get a breakfast burrito. And I would call it a burrito. And they were like, "Oh man, it's a wrap." And I'm like,
okay.
Does it have a fucking tortilla? And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "So it's a burrito." And they're like, "No, it's a wrap. It's a breakfast wrap. It's got eggs, potatoes, bacon, and a tortilla."
Yeah, all wrapped up in a tortilla.
Yeah, I'm like, "Yes, it's a burrito." They're like, "No, it's a wrap." I was like, "You know what's a fucking wrap?" Like me coming here. They're like, "Go to the Mexican place if you want a burrito." And I'm like, "Yeah,
actually,
okay, cool,
take
man. Yeah, see you later."
How crazy.
Yeah, it was just wild. But like, so just having like all of that, just like all these different things, like literally within like a block's distance of my place. Like it was wild. Like, you know what I mean? And this was living in Bushwick. Like it wasn't even like, crazy. It was in Brooklyn.
City, yeah.
So it was like, when I lived on the Lower East Side, it was even crazier. And like the weirdest part for me, I think, was like the dead animals like on the street, like because there was no like the animal control is not going to come like if like your dog dies, like or your cat's dead, like you put them in a bag and you just label it like
for
dead
the trash,
animal
for the trash to pick up.
And then the trash like is on the curb. Like there's no trash cans. There's no like automatic shit. There's like dudes who like ride on the back of the trash truck and they're like, "Haha, we're going to throw shit by hand." And God forbid you get stuck in front of one or behind one at like 3:00 in the morning trying to get home in a cab. It
sounds
the fucking worst.
Like a stinky nightmare.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And like, it's like,
how did they not have that solved in 20? Like, what year was this that you were out there?
It was like 2000.
Yeah, so like in the 2000s, like how is that not solved? That seemed like basic stuff they'd have in Rome. Totally. Come on, like how is that not solved here? Like,
well, I mean, they pick it up like all the time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, a little bit more efficiently. Like, you're saying dead animals. Like, if you're in downtown LA, there's places where you go where you just see, like, dead birds sitting at the side of the rig.
Yeah, but I mean,
is someone not sweeping this stuff up? Like, what's going on here?
No, totally. But this, I'm talking, like, you're, like, family pet. Like,
that's depressing.
You can't, like, call
you can't bury your dog in your backyard there.
Yeah, so you have to put it, like, in a bag and label it dead animal.
That's super weird.
And then they, like, put it in a separate, like, bin. But yeah, then like and
Street
restaurants.
life is the only life I know.
Like it puts like Oliver and Company in like a weird like context when you think about that. Like they're like running around doing all their stuff in New York, and then you're like, "Wow, you're gonna end up in a bag somewhere."
That's so gross and so weird. That's so depressing. Like you said, what set me off was when you said like you walk out your door and it's a busy city. Like that's what I asked Erle. I was like, because Erle was like talking to me about how crazy it was for me. Like, and I was like, what was it like for you? Because he grew up in DC, and he's like, this is totally normal. So he has no like hunger to get out of it. To him, like when he comes out to like the suburbs, like far suburbs, not just like a little bit of valley by LA, but comes out to like out here, he's like, oh, this is the sticks. And to him, this is crazy, or not crazy, but just like he's not hungry for this. But like when I'm in the city, and I'm not like a guy from like the what do you call it, the out in the middle of nowhere. I'm from the suburbs in Southern California, right. But I still feel like a cowboy out of place. Where I'm just like, I need to get out where there's just like places to park and people are friendly and like the air is clean and like you can't hear helicopters every 10 seconds.
And that was the thing for me, like getting used to not having noise, like hearing sirens and like just ambient stuff around you, like cars and helicopters and some crazy person fucking shouting like, "Yo, Nico, give me the fucking money, let's do!" And you're like, and you hear like some other guy like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, you know what I mean?
All the time, at all hours,
yeah, exactly, like 3-4 in the morning. Like,
yeah, the couple fight.
Yeah, it's just how it is, and like you hear just like weird stuff. Like my bed was up against like a window, so like I could hear, like I've had a fire escape. You like smoke cigarettes out there. Like,
that's kind of cool. That's like the romantic side of like
it was dope. Like we didn't have a television. Like we just literally just like would go out on the fire escape and watch fucking
everything's going on. It's enough to just get high and look at people. I'm gonna have some wine, I'm drinking wine, and watch people talk. I think the homeless thing's another thing. You mentioned like someone defecating by you. Obviously, that's gross as far as like germs go. But also, like if you're not used to that, that's like a really weird experience because I think the natural human reaction is to problem solve and be like, oh, there's somebody suffering here. We got to help them. Yeah. But after like several maybe days or weeks living in a city, if you're new to it, you just go like, oh, this is like not something I can just like fix. Like you can't just take a homeless person and be like, I gave him a bath, he got a job, and everything got together. It's like it's this overwhelming problem of like sanity problem too.
Totally.
Of your own brain of like, how do we fix this like broken mentalities? And it's how do you turn that off to be like, all right, I just have to step over to this homeless person so I can get to my job, so I don't end up homeless. Like it's like super amplified dog eat dog.
Yeah, it is very like dog eat dog, and then it just like gets like weird like Animal Kingdom type shit, like where like you won't look at that person the first few times you see it, and then like after like the 10th time you're just like staring at him straight in the fucking eyes, like when he's taking a shit, and you're like, I fucking see you, dog. Like,
I see you. It's not exactly the I see you that I wanted. That's not the heartwarming scene of like I see you and like you see me, I see you. You're both crying. And
but I mean, like,
he's taking a dump.
It's the same guy like who like, you know, you give him first dibs on whatever. Like you're it's like, oh cool, I'm taking this, and like it's cool because like I mean it's not cool because they're fucking homeless, but like it was cool because like they would like stick to like an area, so you're like, where's Greg? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you know his territory.
Yeah,
he'd
be there. So you're like, oh, dude, you know what? I got some shirts for him. I got some fucking jackets.
That's always good to do.
I got some stuff. Like, oh, you know what? I'm coming back from the pizza place. I got some leftovers, whatever. Here, Greg. Like, have this, and like, you know, just that type of stuff. And like, it was just weird how like shit disappears. Like moving was like the easiest thing in New York. Like,
oh, because you could just put it outside and it's gone.
Like you put like a table, like you move your table, and you go back upstairs to like get the fucking chairs
Table's
for it,
gone.
and it's just gone. You're like, whoa! Then you put the chairs out, and then you're like, you like turn around.
They didn't even wait for the matching chairs.
Yeah, exactly. You turn around, and it's like whoop! Like you're like, where did it go? It's magic. Like, you know what I mean?
That's great. That's a great way to recycle if people are doing that.
Totally. But like, it sucks when you're like, when you don't have people helping you, and like you're like, hey, watch this. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, because it's going to get stolen.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
anyway. Like people aren't going to stop to ask, like, is this free, or are you
like,
waiting to load this into a
like,
truck?
I found it on the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, yeah, but it was like a, you know,
I was in the middle of bringing the chairs out for myself to load onto a truck.
You're like, man, it was like my luggage.
Yeah.
I'm going on a trip. They're like, it was on the street, bro. Like, you know, like,
I found it.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, technically yes.
Yeah,
but also technically no.
But you know, it's my luggage for my trip that I'm going on.
What trip are you going on right now? What's life doing for you? How you doing?
So good. So I work. The brand development manager for a tequila company. It's called Tromba. Tequila Tromba. Tromba.
Oh, Tromba.
Tromba.
Yeah. Okay.
Made by Mr. Marcos Sedano of Don Julio fame.
Yeah.
New tequila. I'm gonna shameless plugs here.
No, I want you to. That's
of
exciting.
course, yeah,
I want people to know who you are and like get to know that stuff.
But it's what people do. What he made when he got fucked over by Don Julio himself.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'll go do my own
He's like, I
company.
want to do my own thing, and had some investors, and they did their thing, and he was like, you know what? I'm never going to work for anybody else again. This is my tequila, blah, blah, blah.
Good for him.
Yeah,
like, how long did he work for Don Julio?
For a long time. He created,
like his whole career? Like
he created Don Julio for them in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
They sold the company in 2000.
So he already gave him everything that they needed.
Totally.
Like
and they gave him a gold watch. Like, that was it. Like, for creating like an empire for them.
Yeah. That stuff always happens weird like that. It's like the kid that did the Nike swoosh. You're like, whatever happened to that kid?
Right.
Like, oh, no one knows. I think they gave him he won like a $50 prize. Like,
yeah, exactly. They gave him a candy bar and buried him in the band.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Underneath Prefontaine. Like,
my dad was an engineer, and he saved the company a few $1 million on something that they were doing wrong, and figured it out and let them know and fix this thing. And he got 4 tickets to like AMC theaters or something like that, and like a little gift card. And it was like he saved them like millions of dollars. And it's not like they were paying him already hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like he was scraping by as an engineer in the 80s and 90s. It's like, give the guy like a $50,000 out of that or something that's going to fix his life. What's his name?
Marcos Sedano.
Marcos Sedano.
Yeah, and his son Roy is Rodrigo. But that's his apprentice. They're like the coolest people. I love them, and the juice is good. The tequila is good. I like it. We're a pretty tight knit family there.
That's so sweet.
It's pretty cool. I love it.
That's great. I wish we were drinking it right now.
We can. I mean, I got.
I'm sure you have a trunk.
In the trunk.
I can't drink right now.
Yeah,
dude.
But
I'm at work.
But a lot of these companies and different things like these like the poker players and even entertainment stuff like that. Like Schadenfreude is like a very like common thing. Like people are like, they won't say it, but like they'll be like happy. Like they'll be like, yeah, fuck Greg, he didn't get that part.
There's some of that. Yeah, there's some. Is it Schadenfreude or Shannonfreude? Schadenfreude. Shannonfreude's an actor.
Yeah.
A German actress.
Yeah, right.
But Shannonfreude. She's in those German scat porns.
Schadenfreude.
But Schadenfreude. It is. There's a really funny song that they use that in the. I think Purple Mountains has a song with Schadenfreude in one of their lyrics. There's a morbid human fascination, morbid human need, a sadistic need for that Schadenfreude. But I think that's the thing is that like we're supposed to be. Well, I say we're supposed to. Like I know anything. I would just think like, yeah, we should know that that's a tendency, but then also have the self-discipline to be like, yeah, but like we don't need to. We should be aware of it, and then not like thrive on it or be stoked about it. I don't know.
But I mean,
what the hell do I know?
Yeah, but people are people, and why should it be?
People are people, and Schadenfreude. Drink sometimes tequilas.
That you and I should laugh a lot when they fall down.
That sounds like fun. He scraped his knee. I once laughed a bunch when I watched an hour of Segway crashes on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, I did watch Segway crashes on YouTube to bring it all together and watch the crashes and like was laughing like so hard. So it was like an orgasmic experience to laugh so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the goofiness of how people look on Segways and the way they crashed.
Well,
so that's Schadenfreude.
My favorite thing. One of my absolute favorite things in this entire world is not people falling, because that's kind of mean, but the sound that they make as they're falling.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Like, whoa!
I didn't even think about it. Just the sound effects?
The sound is like so good. And there's so many different ones. Like you got like the muted ones, like, and then you got like all these like people, like these like sound effects of like people falling. Like they're like, you got like the trip one, and then you've got like the slip backwards one. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want it to like, I want there to be like a slide whistle and like have like their voice, like, you know what I mean? But like just them, like the sound of them falling is like my favorite thing ever. Like it's just it's just like whoa, like, and then you hear them hit and you're like, oh shit. Dude. It's the best.
Well, let's fall into your fantasy house. Where's it at? What's the geographic location? We're flying the drone. The fantasy house drone's flying over.
So the fantasy house drone is going to be in the Upper West Side.
Upper West Side. So we're in New York.
Of Manhattan.
More like Womanhattan, huh? Features female.
Well,
hashtag Womanhattan.
I want to have that, but I also want to have a house in Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, you got to pick one for this episode.
No, we're going to.
We'll do another episode.
But exactly. But let's just say I'm going to winter in LA.
Okay.
So this is my spring summer house.
Yes.
In New York.
Yes. When it's nice, when the weather's nice and kind of clammy.
It'll be, Upper West Side, nice. I want it to be a full city block. So I got a lot of real estate to work with.
shiznit. Okay.
Like a big fucking place.
Whoa.
Like the Mixed Up Files of Miss Baisley Frankweiler, like old school, like where they go live like in the...
I don't even know this.
Oh, what? It's like a book where they go, like the two kids go live in like the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like,
so they just have giant hallways, big open spaces.
Totally. Like, you know what I mean? Like they live there, like, and they at night, like they like hide. And then they come out at night and like go play like in the exhibits. They're like, haha, look, we're gonna hang out with this expensive piece of art and sleep on Queen Elizabeth I's bed.
Oh yeah, dude, that's rad.
Yeah. So
okay, so this is giant. It's a city block.
It's just big. Like
it's the Dirk Diggler of properties in New York.
Totally, and like I could have multiple like work-live spaces, around this place. I want it to be not necessarily like a skyscraper, but like several floors.
Okay.
So of just sprawling stuff, and it's cool because I could break it up however I wanted to like. So, like, I could be like, hey, my friends, you can have this.
You sound like the Glendale shopkeeper guy.
Yeah.
Hey, my friends.
My friends, you have this part of this building. You can live here. And,
so what's it look like from the outside? So if we're flying the fantasy house drone over it, like, what are we looking at? Like,
well, you're looking at just like, just brick and exposed brick, and you're gonna look at like a really good like a brownstone, and you're like you walk up, you're like, oh wow, this is beautiful.
Like are there fire escapes on the side kind of thing? And
yeah, totally. Like it's just it looks like I took like a city block out of New York and then just made it
that's
my
badass.
House. And one of those can be like an apartment building that I can just like have. I don't have to have extra bedrooms for friends. I can just be like, here's your fucking apartment. You want a 2-bedroom? Yeah, okay, cool.
I love the jolly way you cursed right there. You're like, here's your fucking apartment there, fellow. Here you go. Your fucking apartment, buddy.
Yeah, but
you're in room 104 fucking 9.
Yeah, exactly. Because people would be so happy to have an apartment for free in New York City.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They're like, wow, this guy just gave me
Dude, if I was going to visit
$100,000.
a city like New York, and I didn't have to, not just the money, the hassle of having to set up and make arrangements. If that wasn't even there, you're like, oh, no, Daniel's going to let us just like crash in this, like, and we're not going to be imposing on him like this apartment. It's like, dude, who could ask for more than that?
Yeah.
That would be fun AF.
Totally. And then just like surrounding myself with, I mean, obviously I'm going to have like cool stuff. So like I'd have a bar, like, and not like in my house, but like, on the street level.
Yeah, part of the block is a bar.
I have a bar.
But that's part of the house.
People could go. Yeah, it's part of my house. I live like on top of it, but like no one knows. They're like no one would know that I actually live there, but like that whole building would be mine.
So fun.
And then like I'd have a bar, and then I'd have like a deli. And
of course you'd have a deli. Okay,
of course I would.
Let's go to the bar first and have a drink.
Yeah.
What are we drinking at this bar? What's it look like inside?
No, it's like super dark, really dimly lit, red candles, like red leather booths. Like you smoke inside still.
Yeah.
Even though you can't smoke in New York anymore, but I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you. It's my house.
This is your house. It's not a bar. It's your house.
Smoke in here if you want.
Yeah.
The bartender is terrible at drinks. Like they got the one guy who's real good, but then they got like the really old guy who's like, will tell you like the filthiest joke and like offend you. And then
what are they wearing? What are your bartenders dressed like?
Oh, just whatever they want. But like the young guys are wearing like whatever cool shirts they want. The old guy's got like a white shirt and like suspenders, and
I was wondering if they're dressed like Steve Hofstetter, the heckler comedian.
I wouldn't force them to, but I mean, if they wanted to, they wanted to wear like muted pastel shirts.
What do you call those shoes that you wear in the restaurant industry that have super grip on them? They look like New Balances.
I just call them restaurant shoes.
Oh, they're so ugly, and
yeah,
they're all black, solid black.
Yeah, they're like the slips, like the non-slip shoes.
Yep, totally.
Oh yeah, like no. Like
Adam always wears them. He has different ones, different versions
totally.
of them over the years.
Yeah, they're Vans made a pair.
Did they?
Yeah, they did, and they were great. They were great shoes, but they would fade ridiculously fast. So
the rubber on the bottom, or the
color
on top.
The color on top, because they're like this waterproof material.
Oh, okay,
so they would just look like you wore them walking through like shit covered snow.
Shit covered snow.
Speaking of shit-covered snow, we would walk next door to my deli, and
walking through shit-covered snow. New York, squish, squishy, squish, 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 stinky, squish.
And the first thing first, I would have like my own cleanup crews that wouldn't smell like garbage. Like
you would try to sanitize part of New York.
No, just my block. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, God
bless you, because no one else has tried that.
I'd be so petty that it would only be like my half of the street. Like the other half would be like, they'd be like, but why can't you clean us? And I'd be like, fuck you.
That's one of the funniest things about New York is how gross it smells. And I was like, everyone talked about Giuliani cleaning up the city. It's like, I didn't hear anything about Lysoling the city.
Oh no, he cleaned it up, but he cleaned it up like wholesomely.
Yeah, I was like, that didn't help out anything, buddy. What you could have done is gone around with helicopters and dropped Lysol on everything. Right, like obviously made everyone clear the city for a couple days, but just washed the frickin' city.
Well, it was, it's trash smell. Like it's not like the streets are covered with jizz. Like why get rid of the hookers and the fucking the like XXX theaters? Like you know what I mean?
I know. Oh, dude, I know. I defend the sex workers. That's what this podcast is here for.
Dude.
Sex workers, we're on your side. You're people and you deserve to make a living how you choose. This is America.
Of sex work, I said, like I would have a dungeon
Okay, what dirty sex work? And
No, it was not even dirty sex work, but like
I'm a meat and potatoes lovemaker. I don't know about dungeons.
But I mean, it would be upstairs, and you'd be able to go there.
What's it look like in there?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just typical dungeon. Red, of course. Like,
of course.
It's like red lights and big city.
So if
it
would be S&M or
it'd be like an S&M place, and there'd be like dominatrixes all making you listen to Demi Laudner.
Oh God, that's my version of like, yeah, make it hurt so good.
Exactly.
This comedy's so bad. I'm just really suffering.
We're gonna find it funny after a while. We're gonna listen to it so many times. We're like,
That's awful. That's such a sad thought.
Oh, totally.
You're gonna listen to it so much, you're gonna start to think it's funny, guy. And I'll be like, well, what is comedy anyways then?
And we'd make it into like a real dungeon, so like people we don't like can go there.
So you'd actually put people in there that you don't
yeah. Like they'd have like a dominatrix, but like the dominatrix would actually be, instead of like a dominatrix, it would just be like dominate, like a person who like hurt you, like
a real sadistic,
like a sadistic,
like someone from the Inquisition that you're like, how did you get this job? Like, oh,
like they put like thumb screws on you and
my God,
whip you and shit. They're even the Iron Maiden.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, it'd be like, but I mean, don't fuck with me. You know what I mean?
I get it. It's a warning.
Yeah.
Is there, so if we walk through like who's in the Iron Maiden right now, like if we're like just giving me and the Fantasy House crew a tour and we're walking through the dungeon, like who's in that Iron Maiden?
I don't know.
You got to have someone be like, John, look at it's Larry King. I don't know. I just had to throw Larry King.
No, I mean Larry King might like it.
Yeah, he probably would.
You never know, dude. He's just,
with his posture though, you couldn't probably get him into an Iron Maiden. He's like, it's not. We can't close it.
Yeah.
Because Larry's got this weird shape. His spine goes in the S.
True.
Looks like a Formula One track.
So you got bar, deli.
Yeah. Okay. So we went to the bar. We had tequila. Bar's great.
Bar's great.
We had a good time. The lighting was awesome. It was nice and relaxing. Exactly. We sat in a booth. I downed my tequila.
More attractive.
Makes you look attractive. Makes me look attractive.
Light,
We both look young. I don't look like Charles Manson. You look like a sexy 10-year younger version of yourself before you moved to New York.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just great. But now that I've drank a little tequila and washed it down, I usually like to wash it down with like a beer. We're going to go to this deli.
We're going to go next door to the deli.
What are we getting at this deli?
Oh, deli, we get anything we want. It's a nice Jewish deli. Oh. The best kind.
Dude.
We walk in, and there's just a bunch of old Jewish people.
Yeah.
The guys, they're like, hey.
Speaking of people that send their food back 20 times, all right? It's not just gay people. We got a bunch of old Jewish people. Like,
oh, Daniel. How are you, Daniel? I'd be like, I'm good.
And who's your friend over here with the camera crew?
Who's your friend? Is he coming in? Tell him that he has to come and try. He's going to try my liver. It's the best liver in all of New York. And then you come in and you'd be like, cool. And they're like, what do you have today? And you'd be like, I don't know. And they're like, you got to eat this. My pastrami is the best pastrami. How? I got to ask you a question, but it's kind of personal. And you're like, wait, what do you mean? They're like, how regular are you? And you're like,
I'm here to eat, man. I don't want to talk about my bowel movements.
They're like, I've been eating this every day for the last 75 years. I live to be 75 years old. That's how you live to be 75. You look like me.
I'll have one. I'll take it.
Right?
Dude, I walk in. If you brought me into a deli with old dudes in it that are excited to have me even have liver, which I'll have a little chicken liver mousse, like pate or whatever.
Some pate.
Yeah, here or there. Like if it's done right and the flavors are balanced properly, I'll do it, right? But I don't really crave it very often. But I feel like there's like an Anthony Bourdain Food Network kind of travel the world thing that I think we all have inside us that I will tap into the second if someone says they made something homemade.
Oh, totally.
You put human shit in it, but you made it yourself. I will eat it just to like taste your painting, like to taste your art.
Yeah.
So if these guys are like, come have some liver, I'm like, yeah, I will have the liver. I'll sit down with you. I want to get to know you. I want to grub with strangers.
Totally.
Enthusiastic strangers. Yeah.
Exactly. And what the coolest part is like, obviously you would have like the old man clique who would like hang out. Like, so like delis here, like what donut shops are in Los Angeles. Like,
yeah.
Where like old guys like come congregate.
I would rather have a bagel than a donut.
Right. And they go eat their
freaking Jew, gosh darn it.
They eat their soup and they're like, they're like, why do I fucking do this? I hate my wife. And you're like, really? Like, and she's like, yeah, I can't get rid of her. You know, like,
and are you sick of hearing this? Because this is your house.
No,
and you're like, you hear this all the time. I'm the guest. I'm like, I've only heard this guy complain about his wife. This is my first time. But you're like,
no, but like,
Saul,
I would
get
love
a life,
yeah,
get a new story.
I would like come I would like come downstairs and be like, oh, this is fucking Saul again, like, you know, and like come get a sandwich and like, you know, do all this stuff and just walk around, you know, eat some cake because they got good cake.
You love cake. I would be too full on eating a pastrami sandwich.
Oh, you don't have to eat all of it at once. I mean, it's just
well, that's what they've been telling me my whole life. I can't control myself when I'm eating. I have a voracious appetite. Waylon Jennings with both my legs. Knock on wood. God bless me.
You're like 3 steps away from gout.
Waylon Jennings was like he got diabetes and then like kept eating and they couldn't stop him.
Right.
And then, like to the fact that they're cutting your limbs off and you're like maybe just have water and fast a little bit. Waylon.
They're like, okay, we need you to fast before surgery. He's like, okay.
It's outpatient. Dipping his hot dog in nacho cheese. Yeah. No, dude, that's me. I'm like, I can't stop. But yeah, I wouldn't have room for cake because if you're going to have me in a Jewish deli, like a good Jewish deli, this is a fantasy Jewish deli.
Yeah, it's a fantasy
So this is like the best pastrami I've ever had.
Best pastrami.
What do you call it when you get the half and half? It's pastrami
brisket.
and corned beef, and they do it half and half on one piece of rye.
I mean, they have like the Reuben, but then like,
that's
like
it's half and half. It'll have it's not a Reuben.
I forget what that's called. A lot of places have their own name for it.
Oh, dude, that and a bagel, lox, and cream cheese with capers and red onions, like thinly sliced
red onions.
Oh, thinly sliced red onions.
Tomato too.
A thin slice of tomato, almost to where you could see through it.
Salt and pepper, and see.
Oh my god!
But if you toast that bagel,
I know you're not a bagel toaster, but I toast it so gently, though, Daniel.
No, but if it's boiled right and it's nice, it doesn't need to be toasted.
We got to tell my listeners here this. Daniel and I were talking the other day, and I had told him how I had the most amazing bagel. We have a bagel place in Laverne called Sal's Bagelry, and they have outstanding bagels. Tell me what you want. I know it's a subjective decision on whose bagels are great, but I will tell you, Sal's is a contender. If you are a bagel fan, that's where you get your bagels. Anyways, I bought a dozen of them. Okay, because that's what this Jew does. A dozen donuts? No, I'm getting a dozen friggin' bagels.
He wants a dozen bagels.
I'd say 8 or 9 of them. My family ate the other ones throughout the day. I just kept going. But my God, they were so good. And I called Daniel and we were talking. And I was like, dude, I just had Bagelgasm 2020. And I was telling him how they were perfectly toasted. And he's like, wait, go back. What'd you just say? I was like, the bagels, the bagels were perfectly toasted. He's like, did you say you toasted the bagels? I was like, oh yeah, dude, they were so good. And then I had the so-and-so. And he's like, no. You don't toast bagels.
You don't toast.
And I'm on the phone like enthusiastic, like, no, dude, trust me. And I'll tell you again, I don't over toast them. They're not crispy like toast.
Like
Like when people make toast. You know when you go to certain diners and they make the toast, you're like, this is a giant saltine cracker now. It's not like that. It's like it's hot on the outside, like it's freshly baked, a couple crispy bites, but the inside is still gooey and chewy and dense. And I want it right now, but it's past my feeding window because I'm a fatso on an intermittent fasting diet.
I'm on keto.
But dude, I'm not keto. I can't do keto. Keto therapy sounds awful. My brother does keto, and he's like, "Oh, I'll do this forever." I was like, "Well,
it
enjoy
fucking
it."
Awful. It's just like it's Atkins, but just meat. Like
that sounds disgusting.
You're like,
I love meat.
Yeah, but you're like, I'm going to eat bacon today. Like that's my diet. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
like put it on a baguette with some mayonnaise and a tomato. Tomatoes have too much sugar.
Sorry, bro. Can I have tomato?
I literally have had keto people tell me like tomatoes have too much sugar. It's like, you tell me not to eat a tomato because it's too much sugar.
You're eating this fucking giant brisket.
Oh, you're gonna live to be 120 boring fucking years old? Have a fucking tomato with your bacon. Like I'll have keto meals. So I'll go to the store. I'll buy steak, which by the way, State of Resid's got a sale right now. I'm actually gonna go get some ribeye. I'll buy a steak. I will pan fry it up, maybe with some onion or something else, but just like one vegetable. I've been doing mashed cauliflower. It is amazing. No starch.
I've been way into cauliflower rice.
Oh yeah, my wife does that for the babies.
Love it, dude. It's good.
We'll do the same thing with a food processor with butter and cream and cauliflower that you boil and garlic, and you make it into mashed potatoes, but it has no starch in it. Tons of fat. So if you're keto, you still got tons of fat and flavor, but no starch. Happy camper. Anyways, long story short, I will do a keto meal, so I'll have that as my one meal of the day, and be like, and I'm done. I just got a steak in my belly, and I'm good for the day. But to do that for 3 weeks, 3 months, a year is like, dude, do you want to live long? Like not one slice of pizza, not one bagel. Anyways, I love my brother. I hope he lives to be 500 years old. Totally. I just am constantly. I'm also just jealous of his stoic discipline. Anyways.
So
I toast bagels. Let's get back to it.
So it's
a long episode, but we deserve it, and our listeners deserve it.
Bar, deli, record store.
record store. What's playing when we walk into this record store?
Bell and Sebastian.
Which one? Bell and Sebastian? Okay.
Yeah. Boy with Arab Strap. That's like, just because it's very like New Yorky.
Okay.
You know, it's like indie, but like not too indie.
Yeah. Because I've heard of it.
Yeah,
It's not so indie that John hasn't heard of it.
Yeah. You know, and like it's that era of Bell and Sebastian too. Like, just to be even more nerdy, is like that's like before Juno got a hold of it and made it fucking super lame.
Mainstreamed it.
Yeah. So they got a bunch of good records you can come in and, you know, people can buy and sell, and, you know, there's
It's your house, but it's got a record store.
Yeah, it's just
that the public can go to.
But this is like just downstairs.
What's it called? What's the name of your record store?
I just call it High Fidelity. Why not?
High Fidelity.
Just because.
Just because is John Cusack going to be there?
Well, no, but I mean, like, but the Jack Black type of character will be in there, like the record store nerd who will like fucking ridicule you for buying like a, you know, a David Bowie album. Like, you know, he'd be like, excuse me, it's Bowie. Like,
He's the comic book store guy.
Yeah, but just
Simpsons.
records.
Yeah,
which is all record collectors.
Oh yeah, I used to get schooled at Bionic Records when I was a young lad over in Fullerton.
And
like, you like that? And I'd be like,
the best part about Bionic and like that type of stuff is like they're nerds, but they're like fucking punk rock record nerds.
Oh,
like,
they were awesome.
Like, but it's even worse because they're like, oh, this AFI present's fucking the first one, man, dude. You didn't fucking know it's on Orange, fucking crazy.
You're buying Black Flag and Lagwagon on the same day? Like, are you okay, kid?
Right.
And I was like, what do you mean? I don't get it. What do you mean?
Exactly. They're like, oh, you got a No Effects shirt? What the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah, totally. You got you're buying No Effects. You got a No Effects shirt, and you're
Lagwagon and Black Flag. What?
What's the matter with you, man?
Like, you got an anti-flag sticker in your car? What? Like,
you went to a homegrown concert? Like, what? And I did, and I got made fun of for it.
And then like, but you walk in and like Superman by like Goldfinger's fucking playing. The guy so next door to the record store, you got a bodega because you have to.
You have to have a bodega,
like for late night snacks and whatever, you know, because the deli will be closed, of course. And then, so you have like multiple entrances, and it'll be like, okay, cool. So depending on what side of the block you come home to, which would be cool. Tell me we walk up. Tell them be an elevator in the lobby. Some will have a doorman. Depends on who I want to see that day.
So you have multiple elevators inside your... Well, yeah, it's such a big city block. You have to have...
Big, full city block.
Of course. You have so much responsibility here, but I love it.
And like, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Like a lot. Like, I have like private kitchens. A big one. Several. And I got a lot of floors.
This is what I love about this podcast, though, is having people in front of me and watching them splurge like it feels like we won the lottery, and like you can just get whatever. And you're like, you know what? Give me 5 commissaries.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I want to bone a big commissary.
It feels good.
And then I want to have like old Italian dudes as like my like not butlers, but like my like housekeeper people.
Yeah.
So that way, like, if I tell them to do something, they'll like kind of argue with me a little bit. I'll be like, but Sal, like, you got to do it. And he's like, fuck you. And you're like, no, like, this is your job. And he just like throws his hands up and he's like, well,
everything's a passionate Joe Pesci like Goodfellas scene. Everything's
but when he like finally relents, he just like throws his hands up and like he's like mumbling as he walks away to go do the thing.
And you just laugh because you enjoy the theater.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is great. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
why would you want me to do that? If I did it like yesterday, and then if I do it again, it's just gonna get dirty. You're like, what do you even need that for?
Yeah, like I'm telling you to do it. Dude, this is your fucking job. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, and then he walks away. Yeah, and he's talking, he's mumbling while he goes,
exactly.
Freaking Zarate.
He's got that Joe Pesci Home Alone, like where he does like the fake cursing. He's like,
what do you have a no cursing rule for your old Italian butlers?
No, but do you remember like that? Like he made up his own like cursing language because he wasn't allowed to curse.
Yeah,
because
he needed to be that character. That's why he's Joe Pesci. That's why he's the king of. I don't know what you call it.
It's amazing. He looks like he's 1,000 years old now, but he's.
Well, that always happens to entertainers where we like expect them to stay the same age. It's like, that movie was made a long time ago. He's been growing. He's like the rest of us. He's on a conveyor belt towards the inevitable.
Like Robert De Niro. And, like, dude, the Irishman. Like, that's... Like, I want to have... Okay, so then on the other side of that floor would have, like, a restaurant similar to, like, that restaurant in The Irishman.
I haven't seen The Irishman yet.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
So sorry. I've seen 2 episodes of Mandalorian, and that's it in the past few months.
Oh, Baby Yoda. Oh.
It's great. It's a Western, too.
I love Westerns.
It's great.
So, anyways, we walk upstairs. You have everyone else's apartment. They can decorate it however they want.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. Unlimited funds. By all means, go for it. Go up to my place. You walk in, big foyer. But then on the other side, like if you walk in the west entrance, you got a big foyer, nice little thing, big grand staircase, goes up to the elevator, takes you up to your second floor. Or if you want to stay on that floor, you go and do whatever. You got bedrooms, bathrooms. It just looks like a nice place. Like, you know what I mean? Like nice sprawling marble floors, all this shit. Other side, you go in the east entrance, and it looks like a normal house. You walk in, you got a living room, real comfy. You got the nice living room that you're not allowed to go in.
Yeah.
It's got like white couch and like a white love seat.
Yep.
A fireplace that like has been lit like four times.
You actually have like the best of both worlds here. You're like, we're in the city, but then I also you're going to
you got like a suburban house. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, all right, cool.
I want a suburban home. That's the Descendants. Call back to our Bionic Records days.
Yeah. And so the Descendants are actually playing like upstairs.
They actually could. They're still around playing, right?
Yeah,
Most of them are still.
Milo goes to Daniel's house. Like that's
That's the sticker for this episode, dude. Oh, Milo goes to Daniel's house. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's the sticker for this episode.
There you go. See, Milo goes to Daniel's house. So.
Dude, I love that.
I like the way
My sketch, my quick sketch. I had to take a note.
You took a note and drew Milo.
As fast as I can because I want to stay in the moment, but I was like, I cannot forget that. I have to. We have our sticker of the month for Patreon, and I make stickers depending on what good stuff in the episodes. I was like, that's a sticker, dude.
Milo goes to
like, yeah, dude, it's just so perfect. It's too perfect.
Oh, it's amazing. So anyways, the Descendants are playing in this house.
So stupid.
So you have to have a dad there then, like yelling, like turn it down, but it's like I can't.
I can't. It's actually them.
It's actually them playing. Like,
turn them down.
Like,
I can't.
You tell them. Like, you know.
They're from a different era, Dad. They don't bow down to our pressure.
No, it's great. So you have that, and you just have like just people like just kind of funneling in and out, like just like weird like paid people, just so like you feel like you know you just got people around. Like
this is your Synecdoche, New York scene where it's like I pay people to make it feel lively.
Right, you got people showing up at your door, like you're like it's all bing bong. You're like you're like hi, we brought you some cookies. And you're like wait, what? Like what?
You're like I don't remember paying the cookie stranger friend bill
exactly.
yet.
And all these people will have like a salary because you know and they'll love me for it. And then I would have an indoor golf like hitting area. Like I would have a driving range inside.
You have to.
Yeah. And like a chipping area and putting and all this stuff. So I just play golf all the time and you know, it'd be rad. I like to golf a lot. It's great being.
If this was a video podcast and our guests and our listeners could see Daniel look me in the eye and say it like that, I'd like to golf and then look me in the eye and be like, a lot. Yeah. Maybe like, okay, I feel a little pressure.
No, it's great because, you know, being Hispanic and living in LA and having a lot of tattoos and things like that, like you go to like a country club and they look at you like.
Not anymore, they don't.
No, still, yeah.
They still do?
Oh, fuck yeah.
They're like, who's this guy? This golfer.
Right, and they're like, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
He must be here to steal our stuff.
He's probably golf for free because he works here. Or they let him golf for free.
Yes. And then like you get paired with them, and like it's like you know two middle-aged men, and they're like, ugh. And like you actually golf well, and they're like, oh wow, great.
You should come out here to golf. We have like so many golfers.
I come out here.
Send you a message. Do you really?
Yeah, dude. I go fishing right here in Pudding Stone Reservoir.
Oh, dude, right over. Yeah, Benelli Park. Great mountain biking, great hiking. There's some awesome. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm looking for a condo at a good price, that area's got some great values. Beautiful condos.
And you got Raging Waters.
Raging Waters.
Where the 5, the 210, the 50, or the 10, the 210, the 57 meet.
That actually, you reminded me, is one of the drawbacks of my favorite condo community right there, is that the residents there all complain about the one complaint, which is actually good. It's only one complaint, but it's during the summertime when Raging Waters gets during their biggest times.
Why?
It's hard for them to park because people start parking into their complex. And
I was going to say, like, what are they like? Man, Raging Waters was the best when I was a teenager.
I remember when I was a kid and really enjoyed it, but I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be creepy to go now because like we're like staring at like the dropout ride. We're like, come on, booby, like you know what I mean?
I'm scared of that one. I don't know if I went on the one that's
I went on
the
there
really
like
high
a couple
one
times, but I would sit because they have like
you just wait for boobs to pop out
there. Like you're like a 13-year-old kid. You're like, come on, titty.
I think I went before I was 13, so I was just like, come on, John, just get through this. Don't be scared of all these tunnels and tubes and all the sketchy. I was like a scared kid. Everything like scared the crap out of me. So I was like, personal growth. I'm going on this one slide that's really high up.
I'm gonna push myself.
That's you asshole. That was me. I got out of there. I'd be like, personal goal, meet. High five to myself. Don't tell anyone what just happened.
Yeah, right.
Creaming my jeans over
as you're picking your shorts out of your ass.
Yeah, dude. Just
because you went down.
Oh yeah,
giant slide.
Totally.
No, but yeah,
the water.
That's what it was. It was like, come on, boobs. Like, let's go.
If we went now, I would probably give you a warning lecture before we walk in and say, hey, I'm an upstanding member of this community. We can't get caught looking at boobies on a slide. We have to go on the slides and enjoy it.
Two adult men just coming. We're like, okay, we're going to Raging Waters.
Oh, that's so gross.
Like, we're just going to, I was just sitting in the lazy river all day. Speaking of, it's in my house.
Way to bring it back around. Your New York City block has a lazy river in it.
Like in the apartment,
spoiled Billy Madison freak.
Yeah, in the apartment. And then like we're going up floors, so like the lazy river is going to be on like the third floor. Like I have like maybe like a little water park in there, like a swimming pool, you know. And then we go upstairs, and then you got the bedrooms. You got the big bedroom. But like,
tell me, like, give me, because we don't have time to do all the bedrooms, but give me like
totally.
the weirdest, most unique thing that you have in a bedroom.
I mean, like,
and a bathroom.
I'd want it like Madonna Inn style. Like,
okay,
you have like themed rooms.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I'd live in like the Fred Flintstone one just because it's the coolest. Like
that's a great one. Yeah,
yeah, dude. Like you got like the rock shower, and you got like a weird bed that like is shaped like a brontosaurus ribs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Totally. I love that.
Yeah, it'd be great. And then
you can still hear the descendants from your room. You're trying to go to sleep. You're like, guys, keep it down there.
Like, and then I'd tell him, be like, Milo, you're fucking fired. And he'd be like, oh, okay.
Daniel, they're so fucked up.
Yeah.
They don't let us play our music.
Parents.
That's right. Do.
And then,
do you have a bathroom? I gotta go to the bathroom here.
Yeah, dude. Of course.
I want to feel like what? Like, do you have any weird toilets or weird baths?
Well, every toilet has a bidet. Like,
okay, that's good.
All of them.
Nothing weird about that, though. That's a great idea.
No, it's amazing because, like, I mean, think about it this way: like, if you got mud on your hands, would you just wipe it with a paper towel until your hand was clean?
The hand is your buttocks. No. The mud is your feces.
No, you would wash it.
We've got to feast the facts here.
You're a fecal freak.
This is a fecal matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take care of that.
You do.
No, dude, you should be able to have a horse bath anytime you need it.
Totally. So, and then you got the front bidet and the back, so you can wash the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wash the boys. And then, underneath got the fan, too, so to blow dry your butt.
Dude, I'm going to take even longer when I'm in the bathroom at your house.
Totally, dude.
Checking my Instagram, checking my Twitter, signing up for TikTok. I'm in there for hours.
I'll just make it like a Pornhub hotspot. Like,
I'm not talking about going in there to do sexual things. I'm just saying, like, I already will chill out, like, and just get lost in answering emails in the bathroom.
Do you ever do that in, like, so long that like your legs fall asleep?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do I ever not do that? That's my question.
Right. Exactly. So I can get up to like wash my hands. I'm like, ugh.
I'm actually pooping right now because I'm sitting still for 20 minutes longer.
Yeah. So, anyways, we have a cool bathroom. They will all be black. Like black everything, so like black toilets, black tub,
black metal.
Yeah, just like all this stuff. Black shower curtains, so like you can't see anything when you're in there, just for the sole fact it'd just be funny. Like, because like you try to pick up something, you're like, I can't fucking see anything. Like you're like, oh, I dropped the soap. I can't see the soap. It's black. Yeah. So then we do that. Then you have your shower, which is like a big rock shower, really cool, like waterfalls and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good house.
It's a badass house, dude.
Yeah, and I would say I would have a helicopter pad, but not after this Sunday.
Do you want to know what's funny? Is I literally told my wife, I was like, well, I'm almost positive helicopters are safer than cars after what happened to Kobe when we just got talking because my friend Brian, who owns Body Electric Tattoo, he for years has been like getting his. It's actually been a while now. He might actually already have his license. I talked to him a few months ago, but I didn't ask about it. But he was studying to get his license and paying a ton of money and spending a ton of time every week flying. I know Bill Burr does it as well.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And I always thought like, well, even if it's dangerous, it's safer than driving. Like driving's got to be the top. And so after this happened to Kobe, I told my wife that, and I was like, I better like look it up and read about this a little bit and see what the internet has to say about this. And I read a couple things that said it's not safer than driving a car.
Yeah. No,
and I was like, I'm never going in a helicopter again. I've only been in once. We were kayaking in Alaska, and we took a helicopter to get to the glacier area where we were kayaking. And I'm like, I shouldn't have even done that.
Yeah.
Me, my wife, and Kamel, we all got into this tiny. We had to go separately because it's such a small helicopter. Too.
Oh wow!
And so we only went like two, and then one to go. Dude, I'm like, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, like people always joke about like flying over LA traffic to like like if they could.
That's what Kobe was doing.
No, totally, exactly. And it's like if he would have driven,
dude,
Mamba still would have been here.
Crazy.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Should we dedicate this episode to Kobe?
I think we should.
I never watch sports really. I love them, but I never have the attention span to sit for a full game. Well, I was playing at was it Molly Malone's? There's a place, Molly's, down in San Clemente, one of my favorite spots to do stand up at, and it was Kobe's last game, so they held off the show that night. Until the game was over.
He scored 60 points.
I watched those 60 freaking points. I watched in awe and was like, this is his retirement game. This is pretty much the only game I've ever really watched too, fully. Yeah. So like what a full crazy game to watch. The game of this guy's his farewell game.
Oh, totally.
He's kicking ass, just killing it. And I'd known about him. I knew he was killing it. But like to watch him do it and be like blown away by how good he was, and obviously like his retirement. So I'm sure people were being a little easy on him at times. Like, well, let him take that shot. He's retiring today. Like, don't get in Kobe's way. But that was the one game that I watched with him. So he had this like little place in my heart for that. And then just on the motivational side of stuff, I love motivational speakers and people with positive thought and whatever. He gets brought up here or there because he's got some great quotes, like many great people do.
Yeah, I mean he had like this drive that was just crazy, and like. For me, I got really emotional when he died because the Lakers have always meant a lot to me, watching them growing up and like because I'm old enough to have gotten like the tail end of the Showtime era Lakers in like the 80s.
Yeah.
But then like Kobe like revitalized the Lakers and it was crazy. But like I remember going like when we heard he died, like we went down to we don't live far from Staples Center, so I went down later that evening, dropped off like a hat and a couple candles, took my buddy Mike with me. And that they had like 3 different little memorials going on, like with candles, flowers, and jerseys and all kinds of shit. I brought a hat, some candles, and put it down. But where I put my candle was where I was standing when I watched the Lakers win the 2009 NBA Finals, which was fucking crazy. And like as soon as I put the candle down, like my knees kind of buckled and I started crying and shit. Like, but that was like it's such a cool memory because like that was my first like look into like crazy LA fandom. When people like talk about like fucking Laker fans or Dodger fans, like like
it's a tribe. I mean, like we're all tribal.
Totally, but I'm talking like. We were watching, people were partying, we were smoking weed and like drinking and stuff and hanging out, and then like people started climbing street light poles and next thing you know, there's a fucking car on fire and like when people started trying to flip the bus, we were like, okay,
I gotta go,
fucking out, like, we're leaving. Like,
I do have work tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's literally like what it was, and so it's like just such a surreal memory, and then like just to be there again, like just in that circumstance, surrounded by like a few thousand people, like the way it was.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So, but,
he touched a lot of people's lives. Like I said, I didn't watch him all the time for years, but even my little touches of him in my life, like, like that, it made me feel sad. And I overheard it. I was at the aquarium at Long Beach with my kids, and I overheard someone say Kobe died, but I didn't hear it like super clear. It was like a conversation like kind of far away. And like, did someone just say Kobe? Like Kobe Bryant died? And I had my baby in one of those snuggle things where they're you're wearing them like a
it's like a baby Bjorn.
That's what I think. That's what it's called. It's a Bjorn. And they're so much fun because then you have your kid like right there, and you can just like nibble on their ear nonstop, which is the best.
Rest a drink on there.
Yeah, that's right. He holds a bottle of the tequila, and it's just great. But it's hard to get into your pockets, right? So I try to get my phone out.
Have you ever rested anything on your kid's head?
I don't know.
Like just like your phone or like something you like have to get something else out of your pocket.
As they're in the baby Bjorn?
Yeah. Like you're just
I don't think so.
You're like, here, hold this.
I don't think so. I think we come from a different. No, I'm just joking.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm teasing you.
It's like you ask Liz, like, you'd be like, "Hey, here, hold this for a second." She holds it like I think you tell your
usually if it's
like,
the baby,
hey,
if I'm holding the baby and I need to pick something else up, I'm asking someone else to hold the baby so I can pick. But I had him in the snuggly thing, and I wrestled my phone out of my pocket and immediately went to Apple News. And celebrities are dying all the time, but he's a young celebrity,
totally 41,
that like has achieved and contributed quite a bit. I knew about his like charitable stuff that he did with kids. So like it was someone that I was like, no, it can't be, right? And it didn't come up on my Apple News because it was so fresh that it just happened, right?
Right, yeah.
So I was like, no. If something happened to Kobe, if something happened to Kobe, like my phone when I updated the thing when you scroll down or whatever, when you pull down the Apple News things, like it would have said like top news would have been something happened to Kobe. So I put it away. We continue on. My other son was petting the stingrays. We're having a gay old time, dude. Just a really good time. And then my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, they're huge Lakers fans. Mm-hmm. And they said Kobe died, and then I was oh my God, like what I heard. Yeah, and I had just like pounded what do they call those michelada beer, and I was just on an empty stomach too. So I was just feeling that good mood that you feel when you pound a beer on an empty stomach, and you got your kid, and you're like in your snuggle thing, and you're just like just enjoying it. The day has begun, the sun has risen, and that's what I hear, and I was like, oh no, dude! And then they told me that his daughter was with him too, and I was like, dude! And people are dying all the time. And I mourn everybody and all humans and animals that are suffering. But it's when it's that it's personified. It's personal.
Totally.
And his daughter died too.
And people people talk shit about how people are glorifying deities and celebrities and all this shit. And it's like he kind of transcended that a little bit to where it's like he was a motivator, and he was a great competitor.
And so what if he's just representing our mourning of everyone that ever has or ever will die? Like he is representing that. Sure.
When you see people like Doc Rivers, for example, the coach of the Clippers now, and he coached the Celtics when we beat them and things like that. Like he's weeping his eyes out to the press. And Kobe never played for him; he only played against him. And he's fucking losing his mind. That shows how much of that of respect that guy garnered. You know what I mean? And it's all of the other shit that happened in his 20s aside, he was a great motivator, and that's a big thing. And that's why I wouldn't have a helicopter pad on top of my fucking house. Sorry.
Episode is dedicated to Kobe, dude.
Exactly.
Dude.
Normally, that would be cool, I'd have this, and then now it's I'm no, maybe.
Well, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Let's hold off on even in my fantasy. I want to be safe in my fantasy house.
Exactly,
I'm Daniel, you can have anything there. You'll be safe. No.
All these old Italian men will protect me who work for me. They're like, I fucking hate Danny, but I love him.
Dude, this has been a freaking fantastic episode, man. We got deep, we talked, and did what I love doing with you is just riffing, and it was just fantastic. And I loved your house.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here and doing this.
One of those apartments is yours, so dude. You and Liz can stay there with the kids and hang on.
I don't know if I'll be able to get upstairs because I'm just going to be bagel drunk.
You could take one of my 7 elevators.
I just see my keto brother, shaking his head, looking at me
yeah.
I'm like, nah, dude, I'm doing it for the bagels.
Yeah, there's gonna be no fucking gym there. What do you mean? I don't go home to work out. And
then my brother shaking his head no, and you being the devil on my shoulder, being like, have another bagel.
Have another bagel, John. It's gluten.
You're such a great encourager.
It's gluten for you.
Gluten is German for good. Yeah, so
exactly. Gluten. It's gluten-tag.
Gluten-tag, bro. Yeah. Yeah, das gut.
Yeah, right. Das Gluten.
Oh, dude. Do you want people to get a hold of you in any way, or do you want to keep it private?
No, man, you get a hold of me.
Where do you want people to find you?
You can find me at tequilatromba.com. No, I'm just kidding. That's where you can find my
That's the
tequila.
giant website for the whole tequila
you can
brand.
find me. My Instagram is reader meet author. Like, what people do when they go to a book signing.
Yeah, or like food meets stomach.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when you eat.
Reader meet author.
Reader meet author.
And then I also DJ quite a bit here in greater Los Angeles. And you can find that at the night is called No Time to Cry.
No time to cry.
Yep. Because that's what we have left. No time to cry.
To cry. It's been a fantastic episode. I feel like a hashtag blessed guest. You guys, thank you so much for being here on this journey with us. And I hope you enjoyed Daniel's episode as much as I did. Go ahead, if you're a new listener, hit the subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review. And if you're a long-time listener, first-time caller, hit that share button. Send it to your bubby. Send it to your uncle in Florida. Say, hey, they were talking about you in the bagel shop, Uncle Saul.
Hit that like button, subscribe. Click that link down below if you want to get a hold of this. It's like every YouTuber ever.
Oh, yeah. You have to. It's called a call to action.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Click
ask
that
people-
bell. Fucking smash that like button.
my listeners
bro.
are fantastic.
Thumbs it up.
When I beg them to give me reviews, I'll look in a few days and I'll be like, someone gave me a new review just from me simply begging, or as they call it, a call to action. Thank you guys so much for listening, and be silly, have fun.